Hello and good morning from Barcelona. I am here for the week because I am finishing up the YouTube project that I've been doing with Mango over the last 6 months. And every time I come over here to film with Mango, I never give myself time to actually explore the city. So I've decided to come a day early this time so I can have some time just wandering around Barcelona. It is a Sunday, however, though, and a lot of the places I wanted to go to are shut. I had a few secondhand bookshops and antique shops that I wanted to visit, but unfortunately they are shut today. So I've decided to plan myself a very arty day. I'm going to head to the area where the Juan Miro Foundation is. I don't exactly know the exact name of the area. It looks like a very big green space. That's there, and then there's another place, like another gallery there with a Magritte retrospective that I booked tickets for. There's a few things that I want to see in that area, so I'm just going to base myself there for this afternoon, and just have a very arty, wholesome day. But this morning I'm going to try and find somewhere to buy a matcha. I'm at Casa Bonai, and there is a coffee shop here, but it's literally just strictly coffee. So I'm going to see if anywhere along this street might do a matcha. And then I'm going to have a very slow, leisurely walk to my first destination.
Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Folks get down in the sunshine. Sunshine. Yeah. Folks get brown in the sunshine. Just bees and things and flowers. 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 My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine.
Right, 15,000 steps later, I am back in my hotel room. I have walked everywhere today. I think Barcelona is quite a walkable city. It did take me an hour to get from my hotel to the area that I based myself in today, but it was a very nice walk, so I didn't mind walking an hour. The walk went through kind of several different areas of Barcelona, including like the Gothic Quarter, which is always nice to have a little browse around. Stopped off at a coffee shop that I wanted to visit because they do good matcha lattes. It's either called Casa Coffee or Coffee Casa, I can't remember which way round it is. And then the actual area where the Juan Miro Foundation is and the Mies van der Rohe Pavilion is beautiful. It was very busy because, I mean, the weather's nice and it is obviously a very tourist attraction-y area, but it's so beautiful. The park, I think, is called Parc Montjuïc. There's two massive water fountains there, which you will have seen in the previous clips. Yeah, just a very beautifully wholesome day. The only reason I came back actually to the hotel room is because my phone died, because I was taking way too many pictures. So I'm just going to wait for my phone to charge a little bit, and then I'm going to check out the hotel's rooftop, because I quite fancy having a little beverage and watching the sunset and getting some dinner, just chilling out for the rest of the evening now. The hotel, Casa Bonai, where I'm staying, it has two rooftop bars apparently. I've not been to either of them. One of them is open to the public, the other one is for hotel guests only. So I'm going to check out the hotel guest one. in the hope that it will be a little bit more chilled out and relaxed versus the public one. Because when I turned up yesterday, granted it was a Saturday night, it was Larry, very loud, pumping it was. Yeah, and a great haul. Got some books, got some magnets from the Magritte exhibition. I also got a magnet from the pavilion, along with some postcards. What else did I get? Oh yeah, the books as well. I got the Magritte exhibition catalogue, and then that Dali book, which, so you remember how I was saying I was really gutted that all the bookshops that I wanted to visit to were shut? Well, as I was walking to the park, came across a market that had so many bookstalls. It was like a treasure trove. Obviously everything was in Spanish, so you know, I wasn't going to go wild and start buying like tons and tons of books, but I couldn't pass up these two Dali books. They come in a very nice box. €15 for these two. And got so many cool photos in, so you're not going to be able to see that at all, are you? I think I did insert a clip of this, but yeah, lots of nice pictures, which is great. You know, until I brush up on my Spanish, I will just be looking at the pictures. Right, I'm gonna go because I have really waffled on about nothing really. I've got an early start tomorrow, so I kind of want to get an early night as well. Being picked up to go to my fitting with Mango, and then after that we are driving to the first location, which I will show you all tomorrow.
Vale, o sea que en exterior tenemos esto y el plan.
Y este, lo que sea, y esto es todo lo que es dentro de la casa.
Vale.
I've just snuck back to my room quickly before we head off and start filming for the day, just to show you my makeup, because the makeup artist that has been on these shoots over the last few months is so good. I struggle with having my makeup done by someone else because I don't really wear much makeup, so as soon as someone else does my makeup and obviously has to put more on than I would usually wear, I don't feel like me at all. I feel like I almost look unrecognisable, although to someone else it probably doesn't look like I've got much makeup on at all, but for me this is like a lot. I feel very fancy, but he does such a good job of like finding that balance between natural but being enough so that it looks good on camera, because I know in video you do have to put on like a little bit more makeup than usual so it shows up on camera, but he does such a good job. And I've kind of noted down the products he's used, because he's used a really nice blusher from Sicily, really subtle like cream blush, I think the shade was Papaya, and then a really nice Fenty Beauty bronzing, like cream bronzing stick as well, which was a really nice shade. Yes, a fantastic job. His name is Egon, and he is such a pleasure to sit and have a chat with each morning. And yeah, he does such a good job of both my hair and my makeup actually. He does a really good job of just kind of enhancing the wave that I already have in my hair. But yes, I should probably go back downstairs now because I think people are waiting for me so that we can head off to the first location. So I shall film some bits and bobs throughout the day. Hello from day 2 in Cadaqués. This area is absolutely beautiful. I've never been here before. The team here have told me it's a very popular place in the summer. We're just out of season at the moment, so it's really peaceful and quite quiet. So peaceful and quiet, they're the same thing. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm hoping in the few clips that I featured I've managed to capture that for you all. Yeah, very idyllic. The coastline is beautiful. It really reminds me of Mallorca, like lots of coves that you can kind of, like little secret coves you can go hunt around in and have a swim. So we've got another full day shooting here at the location house, and then heading back to Barcelona this evening, and we'll be shooting in Barcelona for a further 2 days. Everything seems to be going well. I did have a small wobble yesterday, but that's because I let the anxiety, the kind of nerves get the better of me. I'm normally quite good at controlling them now, but sometimes I have times where I'm sat on my own quite a lot because the whole crew and production team is doing their thing, and I'm just sort of sat either memorising my script or trying not to get too in my head about things. So, and that, I let that happen yesterday, but it's fine. I managed to just take myself off for 5 minutes and sort myself out. But I think everything's going well. No one said otherwise, so I take that as a good sign. Anyway, I am going to continue learning my script so that I can really nail it today, and I shall continue to just document any other nice little bits. Sadly, the time has come for me to leave. Beautiful, beautiful Spain. Very sad to leave. I really, every time I come to Barcelona, I fall more and more in love with this city, and actually just Spain as a country I love so much. I mean, the climate alone obviously is very appealing to a British person, but I get a good feeling from Spain. I feel very comfortable when I'm in Spain. And the landscape is, like, I've probably said this about 3 or 4 times already in this vlog, but Cadaqués was absolutely beautiful. The drive to Cadaqués, stunning, like, yeah, such a beautiful coastline. And we're actually coming back to Spain on holiday next month. June. It's the 1st of May tomorrow, so let's just say next month. Yeah, going on holiday to Spain in June, and coming back to Costa Brava actually, so I'm really excited to see more of that area of Spain. But I am ready to go home. I have to say, this week has been very long. I am knackered. It's been early starts, late finishes, but it has been a really fun week. We've just filmed a lot. We've done a lot in a short space of time, so this week has felt incredibly long, and I'm just so ready to get home, back into my bed. And also it's my birthday in a few days, so this weekend is a public holiday. It's the May bank holiday, and then my birthday is on the Tuesday. Normally it falls on the bank holiday, but unfortunately not this time. So we'll be going away to the seaside for a couple of days with some friends and Dean, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I should probably get going. My taxi driver will be here in 10 minutes. So, adios for now, and I shall see you all in what I hear is a very grey and cold England. No surprises there. Excuse the mess around me, I haven't done a single bit of unpacking yet. We're going to go out because I haven't seen any friends for like a week, so it'd be nice to go and do some catching up. And I wanted to show you my outfit because it feels just very suitably fresh for spring. Just plain black Uniqlo U t-shirt. This is one of the women's ones, not the men's. I've heard some very, very good things about the men's Uniqlo U t-shirts, but this is the women's version. They're quite slim fitting and they've got sort of really small capped sleeves, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I think, I mean, you're not going to be able to see, but I think the balance of the small t-shirt with the big trousers works in this case, but normally I would like a slightly looser t-shirt with a slightly longer sleeve. What an unnecessary boring analysis that was of a t-shirt. Studio Nicholson Trench, I can't remember the name of this one, it is still available. It came out last winter, I think. It's kind of like on the website it looks much more beige, but I have to say in real life it definitely leans way more towards green than beige. And I had it tailored, had it shortened because it was a bit too long for me. I like a long coat, but I do have a limit. And Margaret Howell belt, Margaret Howell trousers, which are probably coming up to about 2 years old now. These are probably one of my best sale finds ever. I wear these so much during the summer. And then GH Bass loafers. I'm just trying to figure out which bag to take today. Is it just going to be the same COS crossbody bag that I always wear? Or should I try and diversify a bit? It's the only bag I wear at the moment, and it's the only bag I photograph and actually put on Instagram. Maybe I'll go for La Mer camera bag, actually, that might be nice. Yeah, I think that works. It kind of has a slightly more kind of contemporary feel against the very sort of like classic preppiness of the trousers and shoes. Yeah, okay, this is my outfit for today. Little bit of an eye flare up again. Probably can't tell because I'm at the sort of tail end of the flare up, but you'll be pleased to hear that I'm sorting myself out with a patch test because I've started getting something around my mouth as well. So it's got to be an allergy, something I'm eating or something that's coming into contact with my face, whether it's something I'm applying or something like a pollen. But I need some clarity because I can't, there's no rhyme or reason to it. The antihistamines I was given are definitely helping with the severity of the flare-ups, but they're still coming and going very sporadically. So I want to find out what it is that is causing the irritation. Anyway, I turned 32. That happened. I used to be really reflective about aging and birthdays. Sorry if I look off to the side. I'm stood at the window right now just waiting for the postman because the postman likes to play a little game of knock and run. Like, he barely even gives me a second to get to the door, and I don't want to miss today's post. So I'm like here at the window ready so you can see that I'm actually home. Anyway, yeah, I used to be quite reflective about birthdays, but not to sound like a cliche, but cliches are a cliche for a reason. I just don't really care that much now that I'm in my 30s. I remember turning 30 and I remember it like it was yesterday so vividly because it was during that first lockdown, and those of you who've watched my vlogs from that point where I kind of started vlogging more regularly will remember my first vlog was a birthday vlog, and I cannot believe that was 2 years ago. That is wild, but it felt like it was yesterday. And I remember feeling very excited about 30. I had no ill feelings, no worries or anxieties, because I think a lot of friends who were in their 30s had said how great it was and it was better than your 20s and blah, 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 blah. So I was very much ready to embrace 30. I was very looking forward to it. So 30 to 31 was great. But when I turned 31, I had quite a wobble, and I think lots of external factors attributed that. And I wasn't in a good place mentally. There was lots going on, and what happened was when I turned 31, I did that silly thing of comparing myself to other people of my age and what they had versus what I haven't got, you know, like it's just thinking, oh, I should have had this and this by 31, I should have hit these milestones, I should have done this and that, and got very in my head about it for quite a while. And it's just not a good thing to do, especially when you like compare yourself to people that are in such different circumstances to you as well, or even comparing to people's situations that you wouldn't necessarily want. Like, you know, like the kids, that's like a perfect example of a way in which I think people compare themselves so much. Marriage, for me, I can't drive, and I think I've said so many times I need to learn to drive, but I like compare myself, like, I'm like, God, they got such a nice car, like why haven't I got that? And then I think, okay, yeah, I can't drive. So it's just, yeah, silly comparison. But then when I came out of the other side of that, it was very freeing, just not caring about all of the things I'd got so worked up about for so long. I was just like, and not just that, like things that would cause me a lot of anxiety sort of in my late 20s, just kind of stopped caring about that. And yeah, it is like a switch just gets flicked in your brain, and it's like, oh, I don't care about those things anymore. It's a great feeling. So yeah, turning 32 has not evoked any emotions in me or anything like that, or any worries or anxieties. The only thing I will say is I am very comfortable with being in my 30s. I have to say, I do enjoy it. Well, I have enjoyed it, and I will continue to enjoy it, I imagine. Yeah, but I had a lovely birthday. Went to a place called Southwold, which is about an hour away from where we live. It is a lovely seaside town. It is very middle class though. It's a bit fancy, but there's good food there. It's a beautiful beach, and the pier is really fun. So we camped there for 2 nights, and now I'm home. It's Thursday. I'm going to try and get back into the swing of work for 2 days, and then it's the weekend again, thankfully. But I feel like I've not really been on it for a while because I had that whole week in Spain, and even though I was working, it was just on one project, so I feel like I've neglected many other areas of life. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of other things to update you on. The only thing I'm thinking is potentially a book update should be included in this week's vlog, because it's been a while and I have read quite a few books that I would like to talk about. So I'll do that at some point next, and then I'm not sure what else. Oh, that was a good, comfortable run, although I did underestimate how hot it is out here. I kind of look like a beetroot. That was a good run. I think my new hat helped. A very much needed and much appreciated birthday gift from Dean. I've been running in like a regular cotton cap, which has just been a bit uncomfortable, and it's a nice cap that I don't particularly want to get all sweaty. So it's nice to have like a proper lightweight running hat, and it's all like flexible, packable, and super lightweight. Second thing though, although it was a good run, I'm kind of concerned that my trainers are the wrong size. So I run in the Hoka Bondi 7s, and I didn't realise that you can actually get them in a wide fit and a regular fit. And I think I should have opted for the wide fit because they feel too narrow for my feet basically, and everyone raves about them, and I'm just not, like, they're comfortable, they're bouncy, but they're not as comfortable as trainers that I've had in the past. So I think I either need to go a half size up in the narrow ones or try the wide ones. I've been running in them since January and kind of pushing through, hoping that they'll eventually be really comfortable. But yes, I think it's just a sizing issue. And the last thing I want to say this morning is completely change of subject. Dean and I have been watching Severance this week, and we've got 2 more episodes to go. If you're not watching it, seriously give it a go. It is, I mean, I don't even know what's going on, and we've got 2 episodes left. It really reminds me of kind of like a Kubrick film. It's got kind of like slight Kubrick vibes, slight 1984 vibes as well, like George Orwell, but it's so good. And I saw someone say that the last 2 episodes are incredible. So I'm very excited to finish that this evening because I've got no idea what's going on. Visually, it's incredible. It's such a beautifully shot series. It's on Apple TV, by the way, so apologies if you don't have Apple TV. I know it's very infuriating that there's so many subscription services now. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty, this is gross. But yeah, it's really good, and if you haven't got a series to watch right now and you kind of just want something that's a bit weird that will keep you guessing, Severance is definitely one to watch. And it's got Christopher Walken in, who I love, and the main guy, I cannot remember his name, is also, I mean, everyone's really good in it. I don't know why I'm trying to give some sort of review. It's great. Right, I need to go home, shower, and actually, I'll do book chat, and then I'm going to go to my studio space and edit this vlog. There we go, looking somewhat more presentable now. So I'm going to talk books, but not many. I went on my Goodreads and couldn't quite figure out when my last book update was. So I've just picked 3 that I really enjoyed recently and 1 that I didn't enjoy so much. As always, I will never be able to do these books justice because I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm just terrible at book reviews, but you know, I like to mention the books that I've enjoyed. So starting with Wild Swans by Jung Chan. I absolutely love this book. It's kind of like a mishmash of, I'd say, family saga, Chinese politics, Chinese history, some feminist literature in there as well. There's a lot going on, and as I've been reading more and more books that are kind of set in a particular time in China, I've become more and more interested in how communism came about and kind of what happened specifically under Chairman Mao's leadership, really. And this tells the story of that, and it spans a very long time, 100 plus years I'd say, and it's the saga of Jung's grandmother, her mother, and then Jung herself. And what I love about this is that I was so invested in these 3 women and I didn't want the story to end, but I was also so impressed with just how much I learned from this book. And I feel like there's 2 real investments here, like you're invested in them, but also just learning so much about Chinese history. And I really appreciate how much history and, I guess, factual stuff that Jung included in this book alongside her own story. There are some bits where it kind of feels like it's dragging a bit, but just all of it for me was so important to know and to read. Don't be put off by the length of it. I think it's a hefty one, but it's super interesting. I never wanted it to end. I just wanted to learn more and more about these women. I wanted to know more and more about their family. And just all the other stories that are told. There's just so many, there's a lot going on. And of course it's heartbreaking, it's harrowing, there's some really quite horrible things in it, but there's also a very uplifting element to it as well. I do think it's a very honest depiction of 20th century China and what happened during that time. And it's a book that has stayed with me since finishing it. I think it will stay with me for a very long time. Okay, second book. Annoyingly, this is one of those books that I can't really talk about properly without completely giving it away. So I'm going to read the back. It was absolutely incredible. That is what I will say. I don't even know what kind of genre this is. Kind of like futuristic thriller, sci-fi thriller maybe. Anyway, on the back. Are you happy in your life? Those are the last words Jason Dessen hears before the masked abductor knocks him unconscious. Before he awakes to find himself strapped to a gurney, surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. Before the man he's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college physics professor. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? The answer lies in a journey, more wondrous and horrifying than anything Jason could have imagined. And it's the journey, both mentally, physically, figuratively, that is so, like, I can't explain it because I'll give everything away, but I devoured this and enjoyed it so much so that I have bought another Blake Crouch book because I really like his writing. And I would say elements of this are actually quite scary. So yeah, maybe a sci-fi thriller. But yeah, absolutely loved. Would highly recommend if that's your kind of thing. And then the final book that I enjoyed recently is Grievers by Adrienne Marie Brown. It feels weird to say I enjoyed this book because so much of it centres around grief. It is a very, very sad book, but I think the subject matter and Adrienne's writing is what I enjoyed. I'm going to read a little bit of the blurb. June's mother is patient zero of a mysterious illness that stops people in their tracks. In mid-sentence, mid-action, mid-life, casting them into a non-responsive state from which no one recovers. June must navigate poverty and the loss of her mother as Detroit's hospitals, morgues and graveyards begin to overflow. As the quarantined city slowly empties of life, she investigates what caused the plague and what might end it, following in the footsteps of her late researcher father, who has a physical model of Detroit's history and losses set up in their basement. I'll just leave it there. I think that gives you a good taste. So that's kind of the what it's centered around, but within that there's so much more about grief and race and poverty, which I think has been so beautifully what's the word I'm looking for, depicted through this story. It's fairly short and really easy to get through as well, so if you're kind of just wanting something that's quite easy and quick to read, this is a really good one. And the way it ended makes me think that this is going to be part of a series, maybe 1 or 2 more books. And then the final book, which I do not have here, so I will insert a photo here, The Martian by Andy Weir. I don't have it because I gave it away because I just didn't enjoy it enough to keep hold of it and just knew it wouldn't be a book that I would reread. So it's the story of a Martian on, I can't remember if it's Mars or a kind of made up planet. You can tell I didn't retain much of the story. Let's say Mars. He has an accident, his crew think he's dead, so they leave him on the planet. Turns out he's not dead, and he has to survive on the planet for something ludicrous like, I want to say like 2 years, maybe less, I'm not sure. I just remember it being such a large amount of time, I couldn't wrap my head around someone being on a planet for that long on their own. So on paper, it sounds like a great story, like that sounds like my kind of story. However, it was not what I expected. It was full to the brim of like technical jargon that I just could not like get my head around, and it was so painfully detailed, like minute detail for every task that the Martian carried out, that I couldn't really envision what he was doing. Half the time I didn't even know what he was doing because I didn't understand what he was talking about. So I'd say 70% of the time I wasn't properly engaged with the story and just didn't enjoy it. The 30% of the time I did enjoy it was when he wasn't talking and it was about the other characters basically, which isn't good. So it missed the mark for me. I was gutted because it sounded like such a me kind of story that I would enjoy. I have watched the film, however, after finishing the book, which was great. Really enjoyed the film. But yeah, just so much of that book went way over my head. Yeah, anyway, there's 4 books. Hopefully you can take something away from that. I think I'm going to end this week's vlog here, you know. Thank you so much for watching, as always. In the next few weeks there will be a wardrobe wish list because I've missed a month, so I need to do an updated one of those. There will also be like a outfits video, so you know how I do like the 7 outfits for spring, I'm going to do a 10 outfits for warmer weather one, and then obviously vlogs will continue. So until then, until the next video, hope you're all doing well and I shall see you soon.